Hi there, I'm Chef Celeste, and welcome to my Louisiana Kitchen, where I'll take you all around Louisiana through food. Today we are talking seafood lasagna rolls and grilled lamb. We'll be right back. Okay, so first off, we're going to start with the thing that takes the longest, and that's going to be our lasagna sheets. So I have the water boiling already, a little bit of salt in there, a little bit of oil. I have the sheets that I've cut into thirds. So look at this size, this is what we're working with. But you can also use the ones that come in the box already fluted on the ends, that's fine too. So make sure you put some oil in there so they don't all stick together. So we're gonna make one roll is gonna equal one serving. So let's get all these going at one time, and then we can move on to the seafood part. If it breaks, don't worry about it. We'll use it for something else. Still gonna taste just as delicious. Let's get those two in. Okay, that's gonna take about 6 minutes. So while we're waiting on that to work in the skillet, let me turn this up a little bit. I'm gonna put it on high. And I'm gonna put my tomatoes in. I'm making the sauce for the lasagna right now. So I'm gonna put that in, a little bit of oil. In my seasoning blend, I have salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of basil is gonna go in there. Cracked black pepper is gonna go in here. I have some tarragon in here. I wanna use some different things. I'm also gonna put that into the lamb because I wanna kind of make sure these kind of pair well together. We're not gonna eat them in the same dish, like the lamb is not going in the lasagna, but if we're doing a tasting, you want everything to still blend together and pair well. So yes, I'm putting the basil in now. Get some of that flavor out of there. Some of the aromatics, open it up a bit. It's smelling good in here. Tomato paste going in. And then I'm gonna add my liquid. It's better to put your tomato paste in before you add the liquid, because other than that, you have this big blob that you're trying to release and spread around. You see how that is? It's thick. So this is gonna add to our tomato sauce. I'm gonna make a thick tomato sauce because I don't want the lasagna to kind of run. I want it to stick together and hold together for me. This is all I need. This is all you're gonna need. So we're gonna turn this up, let that cook. The tomatoes are gonna start to burst open a bit. That's what we're looking for. So once this happens, then I'm gonna add the seafood. And if we need to add a little flour in there, we will do that, but we won't add any flour in here until the tomatoes open up and start to thicken this sauce up, okay? And that way we can adjust it, because everything you cook, you don't have to use flour all the time. Look at the consistency of this. It's starting to change. So once the tomatoes burst open again, then we'll see what we're working with. If we need to adjust the seasonings and add more salt, we'll do that. If we need to add some more heat. In fact, let me put the pepper in there now. For those of you counting, that was 10. That's how much heat we're adding to it. So if you can't handle that much heat, by all means, turn it down a little bit. Okay. I'll try and break these a little bit. Let me take my knife. And I'm just rushing the process, but you know by now that's me. That's what I do. Pasta is going well. Let me pull this over here, because I want you to see something. When you open these tomatoes up, and you can start with them open as well. When you open them up and put them in there, we are not gonna need any thickener in here. Look at that, look at that. So I'm gonna add in my seafood, and these are gonna open up too. If not, they're gonna open on their own, or they're gonna have a little bit of help. Either way, it's fine. You can chop them up if you want to. Crab meat going in. I have some mozzarella cheese over here, 4 slices that we're gonna use and add in here. Pasta is looking good. Oh yeah, it's nice and flexible. About 3 more minutes on this here and we'll be ready. But look at your seafood. That's a nice sauce in here. You can add shrimp in here if you'd like to have shrimp in here. You can add pretty much anything else that you want in there. Let me put the rest of this garlic, get all of that out there. And that's what I want. I'm gonna let this cook down for 2 minutes. This has about another 2.5 minutes to go. I'm gonna drain it and cool it so it's easy enough for me to handle, and then we'll be right back. I'll show you the rest of the process. See you in a minute. Okay, so we are looking good here. You see the consistency? I like that consistency, so we don't have to add any other flour in here, but we are gonna sneak some vegetables in here. So we're gonna put a little bit of arugula in there, just a few pinches. It's gonna cook down for us, and stir that in. Give us some nice color to go along with it as well. The pasta sheets, I run them under some cold water and took some out, so now they're easy enough for me to handle without burning myself. So we're gonna lay out 4. This is enough for, actually, this is enough for 4 people, so. Nope, I don't want that one. Remember, that's the broken one. Unless you have a baby in the family, you can use that for the baby. There we go. Let's lay them on out. Now what I like to do with my lasagna, whether I'm making traditional or not, I take a little bit of it and put in the bottom of whatever pan I'm using, because that way that helps it to not stick on the bottom. So that's just one of my little tricks, okay? So just put that in there, spread it out a little bit. It will not stick on the bottom. You don't have to have a lot of it, you just need some. So what we're gonna do, we have the pieces of mozzarella. Go ahead and break those up and just put a little bit in here. We're not trying to be so cheesy, so this is gonna go a long way. Just put a little bit on here, okay? That's what we're doing. And then the rest of this process, it is so simple. Watch what we're doing, because it's not gonna take much. Just spread that around right there. All of that's gonna go in there. Don't worry if some comes off the side for a minute, because we're gonna pick it up and put it right back, okay? And it can be a thin layer, because remember, we're gonna roll this. So by the time you finish rolling it, it's gonna spread out everywhere, okay? Get this last bit for this one here, okay? We want all that, because that's lump crab meat down in there. Now, watch. Take this, give it a nice little roll. Pick this end up if you need to. Pull this over, move it out the way. I'm gonna use my knife. You can use a spatula, whatever you need to pick this up and put it in there. Put it right there, okay? Give it another roll. You notice I'm not rolling like directly on top of it. That's gonna go right there. All right, set that off to the side. Let's get the other ones. Give it another little roll. Put that in. I'm liking the way this looks. You can use chicken, vegetables, whatever. If you don't want to do seafood for all of it, you don't have to use seafood for all of it. Just sit that right there. My other piece of cheese. Actually, let me put a little bit more arugula on top. That's what we're going. And this is not going to be in the oven long, so we don't want the pasta to get too hard on us. We're not going to top it off with any more sauce, because we already have sauce on the bottom. Okay. All right. Get some more of my seasoning. I'll make another blend when it's time for the lamb. I'm going to pop this in the oven for 5 minutes only. So while this is in the oven, we're gonna get started on that lamb and we'll be right back. All right, so lasagna rolls are in the oven. And you know, with me, that's not traditional. It's just delicious Louisiana seafood lasagna rolls. Now, lamb. I'm gonna trim some of the excess fat off. I have my pan going here, so it's getting kind of hot for me. But I like to take some of this excess fat off of here, so let's do that. Let's toss that. I mean, I can cook that up for man too. I'm quite sure he would really appreciate that. So, and then we're gonna season it up. So I have some of my seasoning blend. I'm using some steak seasoning along with the tarragon and all that good stuff. I think I'm gonna take this whole piece off right here. Okay, look at that, nice and clean, nice and clean. And then the last piece right here, we are gonna pair that with, I still have some of the lasagna sheets left, so I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with that as well. So now let's get all this seasoning on here. We're gonna go for a medium on the lamb. That's the degree of doneness we're going for, okay? Let's get the rest of all of this on here. We're just gonna get all this rubbed in there. So everything that's on my board is now going on the lamb. All right. Let's get that down in there. Now while that's going, let me show you what we're gonna do with the other lasagna sheets because they're right here. And once we have the lamb is just about done, I'm gonna mix that with a little bit of the arugula. And I'm actually gonna use all the rest of that today. And I'm gonna mix it with some spinach. So let's take some of the spinach and add that in here. We're gonna add a little bit of pepper in there. We're also gonna add some oil in here. Let me get a little bit of olive oil. You can use vegetable oil because I need to coat this here. And it's just gonna have a nice little toss to it. It's gonna be tossed in the same pan that the lamb is cooked in. So after I finish cooking the lamb, let me add a little bit here. I like that. Get some sizzle in there. Let me toss this real quick. This is part of that instant gratification that I'm talking about. Now, heat does have to go to this, but I just want to see the colors in here together. And there's nothing wrong with that. But can you imagine this on your plate? That lamb sitting on top of this here. Just elevate your pasta some, you know? You can have penne pasta, you can have arugula, you can have, not arugula, but you can have elbow, just about whatever you want. But just make it different, you know? That's what I like. So the lamb is going for a few minutes. This is gonna take about 7 minutes to cook. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna clean this up, I'm gonna check on my pasta, and then we're gonna make the strawberry mint sauce. We'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of butter in here. My lamb is to the degree of doneness to my liking. When you're cooking your lamb, if you're cooking it for you and your family, cook it to your degree of liking. You know, so that's what cooking is all about. You're the star of your own kitchen restaurant, okay? So let's put this in. I'm gonna let this sit because I want all that butter off of there. So while my lamb is resting, I'm gonna put a little bit of Creole garlic on the pasta to give it some extra flavor. A little bit of pepper, because everything, again, needs that, what? Right, depth of flavor. So I'm gonna put that on there. Now, I have my mint this is fresh mint that I've broken up in the bottom of here. This is the homemade strawberry preserves. Let me get some more of the liquid out of it. And then this is just gonna be a topping. So you can use mint jelly, whatever you want. Mint is the traditional, but we're not trying to go traditional. So let's just get this in here. And you can make this a day ahead of time, let all those flavors kind of meld together. That would be awesome. But while this is warming up, I want you to look at my lasagna there. We have, it's nice and warm. I just needed it to heat all the way through and melt that cheese, and it has done just that. So that is all set and ready to roll. This is all set and ready to go. So watch what we're about to do here. This is gonna be so nice, simple, and delicious. So let me pull this here. I wanna put my pasta on the plate. We're not gonna use all of this here because this is more than you need for one serving. But put that right in the middle there, okay? Get a little bit more of the spinach and arugula because we're gonna try and get these vegetables in here, okay? Now, I wanna take my lamb chop, put this right on the top. That's enough for 3 people, so don't eat all of this, okay? And then get the sauce. Let's put a little bit of that right there in the middle. Now you have your sweet, you have your savory, you have your lamb with strawberry mint jelly. We have our seafood lasagna rolls. I'm Chef Celeste. You're watching My Louisiana Kitchen. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Chef Celeste Gill. Like, share, follow, and I will see you next time. Enjoy.